For daily Ask Reddit. r/Ask Reddit. What does the smartest person you know do for a living? I used to know an astrophysicist. This guy was insanely smart, knew multiple languages, published hundreds of papers with science terms I can't even pronounce, and was also a professor. He had a gift for explaining things without making you feel stupid or inferior and genuinely enjoyed teaching. That's the gift. People that explain wisdom without placing the listener in a position of inferiority. It's when people are so passionate about their work they are determined to share with others. Years ago I had a religious education teacher. Well, I challenged everything, of course, with me not being at all religious. I wasn't the best student, lol. But he listened to me, and eventually I really enjoyed that class. Introduced me to theology and it absolutely fascinates me. He was incredibly smart because he didn't have any answers. It's hard to say. Smart has so many dimensions. People I went to college with became doctors and lawyers and college professors. One guy started his own software company and made millions. But the guy who had the highest SAT scores at my selective college got addicted to coke, blew up his marriage and career as a consultant, and is running a snack stand at a golf course. And he's pretty happy about it. Street smart people tend to be book dumb, while even professors notoriously struggle with simple problems outside their specialty. Smart is more contextually dependent than it seems. Resident a doctor at a pretty famous hospital. We're all like barely 30. That dude got picked on hardcore in high school because he was a science nerd, but he straight up was like, I don't give a like science. What are you going to do about it? And now yeah, he's ducking killing it, haha. My father. He started as a janitor at a plant as a high school dropout, then got his JED, then worked on an industrial engineering degree, so he later got a job as one at the same plant. He later got a master's in accounting and passed the CPA test and worked his way up to CFO. Can you tell that man you're my new hero? That's some Hollywood level stuff right there. Your dad took the hard road and invested in himself multiple times, and it paid off. Most folks never choose to roll the dice. My grandma was a psychologist for 30 to 40 years, not sure exactly. She began her schooling for that in her 30s 40s after my grandpa found out he was dying and decided to ditch her with 3 children. She got her degrees, worked her ass off, and retired in her late 60s/early 70s with 3 to 4 retirements. She also wrote books on the side. Miserly guidebooks for hiking trails and stuff like that. Oh, and when she retired from her psychology job she became a professor for about 10 years or so. On top of that, she got into real estate. She's been buying and flipping houses since before I was born. Some she sells, some she rents. She just sold a vacation home she had for 20 years at over 200k. I have watched this woman write a check for 50k and not even blink. She travels the world all the time, and she's still pulling in serious bank. Pretty sure there's some serious royalties from her books. Long story short, I aspire to be my grandma, 80 years old and healthier than most 20 years old, and loaded to boot. Dude drives a damn Uber. Guy is a mechanical genius. He can build literally anything as far as I've been able to tell in 20 years of knowing him. Finally got his CNC and some other certifications a while back, so he could actually start making money doing what he's best at. Yet years later he still drives Uber. Intelligent does not stable make. Just sounds like he never managed to turn his potential into success. Pretty much, yeah. I worked with him for a few years some years ago when he'd been working retail for a while and had a hard time making ends meet. Dude excelled, but only because I was his boss and I'd already known him over a decade and understood his BS. Anywhere else he would have been canned after a month. And he just doesn't see it. It makes me sad. He's a great guy once you get past the weird emotional issues. He breeds snakes because it's his passion. He's extremely knowledgeable about every aspect of it and doesn't half-ass anything or ever neglect the health and safety of his snakes. He genuinely cares about his work and the snakes in his care and makes a point to educate his audience as much as possible and answer every question anyone may have to the fullest extent. Before you ask, he may be a breeder, but he's not a scumbag about it, and the money involved is the least of his concern. My sister. She's a med student, has the best memory I have ever seen, and is also very humble. I wish I had her determination. It's truly a delight meeting people with mental gifts like incredible memory or awesome facial observation skills or spatial awareness, etc. It goes to show everyone deserves our attention, because the gifted are all around us. Retention of things really holds me back. I'm like a goldfish. My friends will tell stories about these things we've done together, and I can only recall them if they tell me something very specific. In my professional environment, all my skills are perishable. If I don't use them regularly, they're gone. My education is worth only the paper I have, because my retention of memory is so shitty.